Having moved from the construction industry, how do you think it's different now to where you are to what was in the construction industry?
Yeah. So what I found in the construction industry, because we're an electrical contractor and we were sort of, down the path a little bit, there were a few challenges that came with that anyway, and it often felt that like electrical, because it was one of the later activities to be done. It was,
You're always on the critical path.
Yeah,
You're always
on
in
the
delay.
and it was often an afterthought. But if I go back to other experiences I've had where it's been a really collaborative and respectful approach, and wanting everyone to succeed and having that early engagement, man, it's just so completely different outcome at the end. And so looking back on the construction industry, I think there's a lot of opportunity there to learn about or to engage with, doing early contractor engagement.
But do you think that really solves problems though? Do you think that brings teams together? ECIs, early contractor involvement.
Absolutely.
Does it really?
The number of times that I've seen, when we're considered just an electrical contractor who needs to come in and just do what they're told, the number of times that we've actually spotted things that were not, say, designed suitably, that could have been resolved if we'd identified that up front. So that's one example. The other example is that when you're putting your critical path together, if you don't have someone that's got that electrical understanding, and it's just a chunk of time for electrical, you may not be actually doing it in the best way. So I absolutely believe that early contractor engagement can make a massive difference. But
it depends on the people involved in running that ECI.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. And
hugely.
If there's experience there, and I'm talking about it obviously from an electrical perspective, and so if there is electrical expertise in the team that's developing the project, maybe it's a different. Maybe it's not needed in that situation.
Okay. Yep. Sorry, I digressed there a little bit, but let's carry on. What's different from the construction industry to where you are now?
Yeah. So certainly one of the other things that I've seen, so now in the startup industry, effectively, probably two key things I'd say is the acknowledgement from people that what you're going to do is going to cost more and take longer than what you expect. So be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Whereas in the construction industry, it's very much a do it now, do it cheaper, do it faster.
Do it yesterday.
Yeah, but keep the quality high.
Yeah.
And so there's not sort of that's quite a contrasting difference. And I will acknowledge, the two industries are in a very different stage in their maturity. Obviously startups are literally startups.
Yeah. And you'll do anything to succeed.
Yeah.
Right. And whereas construction is an absolute red ocean.
Yeah.
It's dog eat dog for breakfast.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that, I've unfortunately seen it too many times where, head contractors see it as a win if they, force smaller companies or subcontractors to price it really lowly, and if that company goes out of business, it doesn't matter because there's another one that's going to come along, And
well, that's so bad, eh?
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
And it's just not good for anyone to have these companies go out of business.
Absolutely not. It's not good for the industry at all. Like, look at the number of companies that have gone bust just in the last 3 years in construction. It's insane.
Exactly. And I think whether there's something there going right back to when the contracts tendered, that everyone's just trying so hard to win it and winning it on price, irrespective of the how much the non-price attributes actually impact the selection process.
They don't matter. In the New Zealand procurement model, at least in construction, the non-price, it's literally one thing that adds most of the weight is literally the price.
Yep.
You give me the lowest bid, I'll take you. Your non-price attribute, do you have the labour? Who cares?
Yeah.
What quality will you deliver it in? Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
We'll deal with it later. And it's, come on, I think we can do much better in
Yeah.
New Zealand from a procurement perspective. We had a whole panel discussion about it earlier.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. You're clearly putting it much more bluntly than I was feeling comfortable to do, but I 100% agree with that.
it is the truth, isn't
And
it?
yeah,
I mean,
and
you've been a subcontractor.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
As in, how difficult has it been to secure work, and
Yep.
is it not always an uphill battle?
Oh, I wouldn't say always, but absolutely, there's times where it's. I mean, there's times that we've had to price things at not making any profit just to win a job, you know,
and keep your workforce employed.
Keep workforce employed, and that's just not good for anyone when everyone's having to price it unrealistically and I guess race to the bottom.
So how do we translate that? Where you are, you're in the startup sector, where everybody's working collaboratively, everybody's rooting for each other, everybody wants everybody to succeed.
Yeah.
Here we have a red ocean where people slashing one another to make a profit.
Yeah.
How do we translate that from where you are, all your learnings from there, to construction?
Yeah, I mean, that's a massive question to be answering.
A loaded question.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, and what I'd say is there's obviously not one single answer, and there's not one way that you can just, make it disappear, because it comes right from, like I said, the tendering process, and somehow that price actually not being the number one factor, even if it says it's, price is 60% attributable, we all know that that's
bullshit.
Yeah. And so, something has to change there. And ultimately, I think it is, the people definitely think that they're doing the right thing, especially when there's, government or councils or whatever have got certain processes that they have to go through. I think they think that they're doing
processes.
Yeah, and I think they're doing the right things, but those non-price are just so subjective. And yeah, I guess with me not having been at the table, it's probably difficult to comment on that.
So you reckon we can do a better job in our procurement process?
Absolutely, in the procurement process. And then also, because I've obviously been on the subcontractor side, is there needs to be a view that by the head contractor of saying, I have to win this. It has to be an approach of, we have to win this together, and I want my subcontractor to do well enough to still be around at the end of this and work with us on the next project.
You know what the interesting thing is? I've stopped calling subcontractors on my programs.
Yeah.
I call them bill partners.
Nice. Yep.
You see, you keep talking about the narrative.
Yeah.
Let's start building the narrative from the program where it's written.
Yeah.
They're not subcontractors.
Yeah.
They're bill partners.
Yeah.
You work with them. They don't work for you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Anyways.
Yeah.
And that's the one little thing I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Too.
No, look, and I love it. And it's, again, it's about, I think about that respect that you have for them. And so, yeah, looking back, I think the construction industry really is a bullyish industry. And I'd love to see somehow that just completely being wiped out.
I reckon it'll change.
Yeah, and again, that's why you need diversity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And I reckon it will change.
Yeah.
With digitalization, at the rate things are moving, we will be forced to adapt. I strongly believe that.
Cool. Look forward to seeing it.
We'll get there, Fiona. We'll get there. I'm sure we will.